Just cut the music.
Yes, what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? Oh, my back is killing me today. Oh, I'm not feeling so great, y'all, but we're gonna get through this live, honey. We're gonna get through. We're gonna get through it. Hey, Shantae Mason. Hey, dear. Hello, hello, Gemini twin. Hello. Hello, everyone coming in. I see you guys coming in. Please don't forget to hit that like button for me if you don't mind. Thank you guys so much, guys. I'm gonna try to breeze on through this damn live because I ain't feeling my best tonight, y'all. For some odd reason. I think I must have slept wrong last night or something. I don't know. My back is like seriously hurting. So yeah. And then I feel like I'm coming down with a damn cold. It's like when it rains, it pours. Like my throat feel like it's trying to get sore. I think it's the weather change, like back and forth. Like one day it's hot, then the next day, like today, it's like real windy and cold out. It's like crazy because I had on like a tank top yesterday. It was real hot yesterday. Then today I get up and it's like freezing with the wind blowing. It feels like a winter day out today. So I got the damn heat on and everything. Yesterday I had the air on. Today I got the heat on. It's weird. But yeah, so now my throat feeling like it want to hurt. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I know I ain't about to get sick. I'm hoping it's just allergies or something like that. But we'll see what it's giving, child. But thank you guys for being here. We have some great, great topics for you guys. Thank you, Belle Wilson, for being here modding tonight. Let me see. Is Linda here? Not yet. Child, y'all know Linda, child. She be modding everywhere. Linda be everywhere. But we got Belle Wilson, so I know she can handle it. Thank you all for being here. Okay, I appreciate you all. Let's get into this show, child. Hope all you guys hit the like button for me, okay? All right. Woo, child. All right, so shout out to one of my favorite people, Angel Reese. We kind of talked about her this morning. What was it this morning? Shout out to Angel Reese, guys. She did announce today that she is going to be entering into the WNBA. Y'all know they were giving her a choice to if she was going to stay with LSU another year or if she was going to proceed with going to the WNBA draft. She has decided that she will be going to the WNBA draft. So shout out to her. That's great for her. I want her to work on her attitude just a little bit and work on her jump shots a little bit more. Because she's getting ready to go into a whole different league now of taller girls. Like she had a little advantage when she was playing with LSU. Some of the girls were a little bit shorter. She had that reach over them. She had that advantage over them. So now going into the WNBA where you have girls that are maybe your height or taller and got a little bit more experience, you got to hustle just a little bit harder. So shout out to her for making the decision to go ahead and decide to go on child with the WNBA draft. That's great for her. More money for her. She's already making great money with endorsements and playing with LSU. So she's gonna be fine. She's gonna be fine. This is gonna be a great thing for her. So yeah. Yes, says get better. Let's put that. Says get better love. You don't allow those fools to have you shout and sending up your pressure. Says to protect your health. Plus you don't want the lines on your pretty face early. Oh no, we don't have no lines on this face now. We ain't be doing none of that. No, baby, no. I want my face to be like y'all. My grandmother. Let me tell y'all, my grandmother is 89. She just turned 89 in March. Okay. When I say she don't have no wrinkles, like grandma, you are aging in reverse. It's like giving Benjamin Button. My grandmother does not have wrinkles, and if I would show her picture, but it's so many crazy people like Wanda be stealing pictures, child, and be child. If she, I'm not about to fool with it. I would show my grandmother's picture, but I ain't got time because Wanda like to take people pictures and be showing them over there on her channel. And if she even try me on that with my grandma, I'm gonna have to snap on her ass. But y'all, my grandmother don't have any wrinkles at 89. Is that crazy? No wrinkles. But my grandmother, let me tell you, my grandmother is, I'm not doing it. I'm not putting it up. I'm not going to put it up. But my grandmother, y'all, got this long salt pepper hair. And my grandmother is Lumbee Indian, guys. No lie. Lumbee Indian. Look it up. Lumbee Indian and black. Okay. So she's mixed. My grandmother's mixed. But she got all this long, pretty salt pepper hair and no wrinkles, y'all. At 89. I said, bitch, when I get old, I want to be like that. I want to be like that. But you know, God, she got all that God. And my grandmother she's a pastor. So of course, y'all know God kind of kept preserve her and all that, keep her young looking and all that. So grandma been in the church for a long time, baby. When I be feeling away and when I need a little prayer in my life, I mean, I pray for myself, but when I need that deep, spiritual therapy, I can call my grandma and I'm okay. when I get off the phone with her. She'll pray with me and all of that. And baby, I feel good after that. But grandma is still out here serving the girls at 89. She's still doing her thing out here, still in her right mind, all that. I'm just like grateful to still have her here. So shout out to my grandma and happy belated birthday. Of course, I already told her happy birthday, but happy belated birthday. She just got her 89th last month. Let's get into the show, okay? Enough about grandmother. She know I love her. I always tell her when I talk to her. All right. So, of course, you guys know with this whole Diddy stuff going on. If y'all, well, let's not skip. Of course, you guys, if you guys have ordered stuff from Melody Cherie, honey, through for your 7th Avenue orders and stuff, Melody baby is getting those orders out. She just did a whole new post today. Let's see. She just did a whole new thing today where she is showing, and I'm gonna share with you guys where she is getting you guys orders out, honey. She's getting them orders out. Let me go ahead and share with you guys so y'all can see, honey. If y'all ordered something from her, all y'all stuff got to be about to be coming here soon. I know somebody said that they had ordered something on a Friday, and by I think on a Friday, by like Monday or Tuesday they had it. So Melody be on her stuff. I like that she does not make her people wait. We got music. So she's playing The Man right here by Mystical. The Melody is getting her orders out. If you guys can see, can you guys see my screen? Y'all see my screen? Let me do my dual. Because I watch with y'all to make sure everything is flowing the way it needs to. Y'all see Melody Child? She's there. Everybody said her G-Wagon was gone. The G-Wagon is there, as you can see. But she got her team there helping her get all them damn orders out. Look at all them orders. Boy, they be working. All right, Melody says that you don't have to look too hard. She says, I'm right here. She says, one drop of several. Says, thank you to everyone who took advantage of our Easter sale, 7th Avenue Beauty, where beauty is the destination, okay? So she's getting all them orders out. Plus, she's got on her 7th Avenue tights, okay? So, which have sold out, by the way. So, if you guys ordered any of the 7th Avenue tights, baby, she bought them all. There's no more. All right, so yes. So, she is going to be getting in another order, she was saying on her live. And as you guys can see, she's getting them out. So shout out to Mel, honey, for working hard. One of the hardest working women out here in the business. And she cute while she's doing it, okay? Cute while she's doing it. All right, we love us some Mel. Go on, Mel. Do your thing, okay? Go on, Mel. I ain't mad at you, girl. Get them orders on out there. All right, so if y'all order something, y'all about to get y'all stuff because y'all see she done took it to the damn post office. All right. Moving right along, child. Moving right along. All right, so Cassie, honey. Cassie has recently spoken out. I don't know why I'm so nervous for her. Like, I really want her to kind of work behind the scenes and not announce everything that she's doing, because we know when people start going up against Diddy, they start to be unalived or missing, y'all. Have y'all noticed that? People who've been trying to write books and stuff about Diddy, like, they're not here anymore. So Cassie has now announced, guys, that she is reportedly cooperating with the feds to testify and to give them all the information they need about this trafficking and RICO situation for this Diddy case, y'all. I like that she's going to cooperate, but I don't want her to talk too much because it kind of makes me scared, because we know Diddy can be very calculating at times, okay? Let's go ahead and get into that. I'm going to share so y'all can look with me, okay? Because there's pictures and everything, all right? Let's do that. All right, so let's give it time to catch up because there's a little latency here, okay? Little latency. Y'all been telling me in the comments, Camille, we don't see it yet. So I'm gonna kind of give it like a couple seconds after. So can y'all see me now? Can y'all see? Put a 1 if you can see. Cassie is cooperating with the feds, okay? And trying to take Diddy down. See, this is the thing. Diddy should have left her alone. See, he was throwing out all these damn subliminals at the last award show. His ass was at talking about, yeah, shout out to Cassie, and throwing little digs and stuff. Now Cassie's like, okay, you want to keep mentioning me? You want to keep playing with me? Okay. I'm going to cooperate with the feds, okay? I see y'all with the ones. Thank y'all so much for letting me know. So let's go ahead and get into it. Of course, y'all know that it's Cassie. She's so beautiful. So beautiful. And there's this fool right here. We ain't even going to say his name, child. All right, so it says the Diddy's ex Cassie, honey, has been in touch with the authorities in the federal investigation. Says, and not just that they're told that she is cooperating as others who've sued him. Okay, now I'm reading today that they've been looking into Diddy for quite some time. He didn't know it. So he just been out here all willy-nilly, child, just trafficking and committing all kind of crimes. And now the feds have announced they've been looking at Diddy. Not just today, but they've been looking at him. They've been building a case against him. So when they raided his house, that's not something they just decided to do. That's something that they've been working on. Okay. Says the sources with direct knowledge tell us that Cassie is among the witnesses that the feds have been in contact with in connection with Diddy's investigation. Says that we're also told that she's been working with investigators for several weeks, presumably even before Diddy's home or homes rather, because it's plural, were raided. Okay. Put my eyes on so we can read good, honey. Want to read good in here. All right, so let's keep going. That's Cassie when she was with him. She didn't look happy, did she? You can tell she was not happy. Look at her face. She's so beautiful. All right, says that given the timing, says that it seemed that Cassie may have helped the feds establish probable cause to get a judge to sign off on the search warrants. Says that other women, we're told, also have been in contact with the feds as well. Because y'all know it's a lot of people. What the hell? No thanks. Let's go back. Fuck did I press over here? No. What did I press? Okay, boom. I clicked on the wrong thing. All right. So it says that we don't know what Cassie has told the feds, but presumably it mirrors the lawsuit that she filed against Diddy, because y'all know she filed her own lawsuit against him. Says in which she alleged he forced her to have sex with multiple male prostitutes with a P. He R-worded her, he beat her, and piled her with drugs and alcohol over the course of their relationship. Okay, this is her case against him, as you guys can see. Cassandra Ventura against Sean Combs, Bad Boy Entertainment, Bad Boy Records, Epic Records, Combs Enterprises LLC, and Doe Corps 1 through 10. Okay, so she got everybody in there. She's like, bitch, I'm suing everybody. All right, so this is where the Fed, shout out to TMZ again, okay? Says she also alleged that he engaged in sex trafficking, says that Diddy denied her claims, but settled a day after she filed her lawsuit, as we all know, okay? Says that as we know that Cassie was in a long-term relationship with Diddy for about 10 years. I don't believe it was a relationship. I do believe, however, she was a trafficking victim. Years before they split in 2018, that her current husband is Diddy's former trainer, which you guys know. All right, so this is the date. This is when they did the house raid, okay? That's the feds actually on the scene. As you guys can see, HSI, which is Home Security Investigations, says it unclear at this point which of the other women have also been cooperating with the feds. Says that we also don't know if Diddy's ex-employee, Rodney Jones, has been interviewed at this point, okay? All right, so that is Cassie. In another picture, it says that Diddy has called the allegations against him and the raid a witch hunt. Says that for now, he hasn't been arrested or charged with a crime. He's going to be, and I'm going to show y'all here in a minute why. Says that we covered it all on the latest episode of TMZ Podcast. Okay, so yes, and yes. So as you guys can see, that's where he was raided. But Cassie is cooperating. I figured she was going to cooperate. It would been remiss for her not to do it, because she knows a lot of the ins and outs of what was going on. She knows a lot of stuff that was going on with Kim Porter too. She does. I've been following this very closely. So Diddy, it's a wrap for you, sir. It's a wrap. I'm gonna show you guys a video here later where one of the prosecutors who helped convict R. Kelly, she spoke and she says that a lot of the cases mirror R. Kelly's case and this upcoming Diddy case. She says she's pretty much saying that she's more than positive that he's going to be charged. He's definitely going to be charged. They're going to get him just like they got R. Kelly, because a lot of the charges they got R. Kelly for, a lot of them are the same charges that Diddy is facing right now. So they're going to get him for everything, and they're going to throw the fucking book at him. They just haven't done it yet because they're still combing through all the evidence that they took from his house. Okay. Yes, God. All right, but let's move on, child. Yeah, let's move on. Diddy's out here acting all nonchalant too, like he don't care. But hey, you better care, because baby, it's about to get real for you, okay? All right, so Nene Leakes child still out here giving side chick advice, honey. She's still out here giving. Who is ringing my doorbell? Give me a second, guys. I'm sorry. Somebody's at my door, okay? Hold on. Okay, guys, I'm sorry about that. I'm back. That's my neighbor's kids coming over to see if my son can play. I'm like, he's not here. He's been gone all week. He won't be back until the end of the week. But they're like, hey, can your son come out and play? He's not here, dear. But anyway, so we're back. So Nene, like I said before, I had to step away. Nene is still out here giving side chick advice. Why she's doing that, I don't know. Nene is the last person anybody needs to take relationship advice from. After she made that statement, and I kind of touched on it this morning, where she was saying, or she mentioned something to the tune of she's willing to share a man just to avoid being alone. I said it gives desperation. But let's go ahead and share her post. Okay, let's go ahead and share that. Share. Let's see. Which one is it? Hollywood Unlocked. Yeah, I think it's that one. Yep, that's it. All right, so let's give it some time to catch up because there's this little latency. I want everybody to be able to see. All right, can we see? Can everybody see? All right. So this is what Nene just had to say. She just posted it not too long ago. She says, if you are a side piece, if you're a side piece, check out here, huh? If you're a side piece, check out here. She says, I think you need to love yourself just a little bit more. She says that me, I am number one or no number at all. That's not true because the guy that she's dating, Nia Seller, I already told you he's dating this younger, real pretty girl as well as Nene, guys. He was seen out publicly with this girl not too long ago at a public event. So Nene, I don't know what the hell you talking about right here, trying to give somebody some side chick advice, because Nia Seller, the African dude that Nene is dating, he is also seeing somebody else. But Nene, you just said a few months ago that you were willing to still date him even if he's dating somebody else. So how the hell are you number one, girl? How is that? He is sleeping with you. He is seeing you, and he's also seeing this other younger, pretty girl. She looked like she might be like Latino or something like that. She looks mixed. She's a real pretty girl. So he ain't just seeing Nene, but he is also seeing someone else. So I don't know what the hell she's talking about here. Okay. I don't know what you're talking about here, Nene, but all right. It's giving no, sis. Okay. It's giving no. This is Nene. She done had all this damn work done. All right. Says she has a message to the side piece chicks. Okay, I didn't know it's called side piece chicks, just side piece or side chick. Okay, take that piece out the middle because that don't go together. But that's what she had to say, child. Says that you are a side piece chick out. If you're a side piece chick out here, that I think you need to love yourself just a little bit more. Maybe you want to take your own advice, Nene, because ain't nobody taking no damn relationship advice from you. Like, no, okay. But yeah, ain't nobody taking no damn. Anybody taking no relationship advice from you when you out here sharing a whole man, child? Goodbye. Goodbye, child. Goodbye. All right. Claudia Jordan, honey. Claudia Jordan, she speaks on the suspicious deaths surrounding people around Diddy. We've been talking about Diddy. I know you guys may be tired of hearing about Diddy, but that is what's hot right now, guys. And I don't want to overtake you guys with this whole Diddy stuff, but I try to keep you guys updated as I get updated. It's so many things that surrounding Diddy. As y'all know, his youngest son just got charged with some of the same crimes that his father is being charged with. Like, yes, Bill Wilson said, Miss, keep your legs closed and marry me. And right. And Nia Seller was married when Nene was messing with him. But child, bye, Nene. But back to Claudia. Claudia is speaking out about some things that she knows. She says that she's very close to Al B. Sure, and there's some things that they actually talked about prior to him having his coma. You guys, I know he went into a coma, which was very said to be suspicious, and they think that Diddy had something to do with it. There's a lot of people who were surrounding Diddy, like I said before, that were talking about writing books. They're not here anymore. Jaguar Wright spoke about it, and a lot of people don't like to hear what Jaguar Wright says because they think that she's crazy. Jaguar Wright, a lot of stuff that she says is very reputable. She's been in the industry. She knows Diddy. She's been around people who've been around Diddy. She's heard a lot of stories, and she's witnessed a lot of things as well. So I don't think people need to count her out quite too fast because she does know a lot of stuff going on. Okay. All right. So I want to share with you guys what Claudia had to say. She might have been getting a little emotional because she did say that she and Al B. Sure were very good friends. So let's go ahead and share that with you guys so y'all can hear it, and I'm going to read to you guys as well. Oh, child. And I'm going to wait till it kind of catches up. Say leave that alone and be careful. Yes, child. Okay, so I see it on my screen, so that means we're good. All right, so it says that Claudia Jordan speaks on the suspicious deaths surrounding Diddy. Says that Albie Sure and Diddy are the only ones alive from that record company, meaning Bad Boy. Says that I do believe that there are suspicious things around Albie Sure going into a coma. I said the same damn thing. Okay,
he almost died. Like,
all right, hold up. There you go.
I want y'all to just think about something real quick. Albie Shore and Diddy are the only ones that are alive from that record company, right? The only ones that are alive. Allegedly, Heavy D was working on a book about his life, dead. And this is all on the internet. I think Jaguar talks about this. Andre Harrell supposedly was going to talk about his life, dead. Albie Shore supposedly was working on this before and then went into a coma. I remember this. Albie Shore is a friend of mine. We used to work out together in LA. I know him. Right before this coma, y'all, he was training for those celebrity boxing matches and then falls into this coma, and he almost died. Like they said, when they opened up his insides and did the surgery, it was liquefied. So when things like this happen in your life, will you be a little bit more tight-lipped about things? Could that be a reason why maybe you didn't act the way we would normally think someone should act? I also think, in my opinion, because when Kim Porter, when she passed, she had nothing negative. Before she died, she had nothing negative to say about Albie Shore's parenting skills. You never heard her say that he was not a good dad. Never. I believe he was pushed out by Diddy. I believe Diddy wooed Quincy. I believe Diddy offered the fun stuff. You know, you see he takes his kids drinking and hanging out and partying. What young, good-looking kid is not going to want to go along with that? Like, I just believe he was wooed away from his real dad with things. And I think Albie Shore finally feels comfortable. This is my opinion, y'all. This is my opinion. I think he feels comfortable speaking on it now. I do believe that there are suspicious things around Albie Shore going into a coma. I do believe in it. Albie Shore is not a thirsty guy. He's not. He's never been. He could have released a book when Kim passed. He could have done this a long time. He could have done a lot of stuff that he did not do. So I don't know, but I don't think he's a clout chaser. I don't. I really don't. I want y'all to just think about something real quick.
What y'all think about that? I agree. I ain't even gonna lie. I ain't gonna, from all the things that I've read and that I've been trying to keep up on with Diddy, I believe that. I think that Diddy may have had something to do with it because it's so coincidental that everybody that speaks up, they're not here anymore, or something very crazy or weird happens to them. That's why I say I'm kind of praying that during this investigation with Cassie cooperating, that nothing happens to her. I hope that she's in some type of witness protection, that she's alerted the feds to let them know that what's going on with Diddy and how he tries to intimidate and or do things to people when they start to speak out about him. These are very serious crimes that's against Diddy. And with people coming forward to speak up about it and cooperate with the feds and testify against him, he could very well knock somebody off to avoid them speaking up so that he can get off of these charges. I mean, we saw R. Kelly trying to do the same thing when they were trying to show the documentary in the theater for the surviving R. Kelly. He sent some guys there to try to blow up the damn theater. Like, it was a lot of shit going on during that time. He was blowing up people's cars. He was doing a lot of things to keep people from talking and intimidating the witnesses because they were cooperating. And Diddy has those same, he has that same attitude, I think. You know, a lot of people say, oh, Diddy is this nice stand-up guy. That's bullshit. Diddy is a scary guy. But what he shows you guys in the public is a different person. Diddy is about image. This is bothering him. Can't nobody say different. This situation, when the feds raided him, I think that scared the shit out of him because Diddy's been able to get away with things. I think that he was totally taken off guard because a person like him, like I said, for 20 years, he's been able to be under the radar and stay under the radar and do the things that he's done to people and nothing ever happened. He's been able to pay his way out of things. But this situation now is getting to the point to where the higher ups in the industry, they're not really supporting Diddy like they used to be able to get him out of things. And he knows that now. So I think deep down, despite the look on his face and despite this cocky attitude, like he don't care, I really think he cares. And I think he's scared as hell. I think he's scared as hell because he knows it's a matter of time before they get him. He can't leave the U.S. because they have confiscated his passport. So there ain't shit he can do. And they watching him very closely. Please believe they know his every move and they know where he is. So he would be a fool to still be out here trying to be doing the same shit he was doing before. I guarantee you he is on his P's and Q's, and he ain't out here doing no trafficking shit, and he definitely ain't hanging around no young girls, okay? I guarantee you he ain't doing that because they have 20/20 vision on his ass right now, and he knows that. So it's a matter of time before they come snatch him up. We're going to get into that here in a few. Okay, let's continue on because there is more. Okay, yeah, he is scared. I would be scared if I had them type of charges on me with the type of time he is going to be facing, y'all. This shit is worse than I think R. Kelly's case, y'all. And R. Kelly was doing his for 30 years. Diddy? Oh my God. And then his sons are also being named in this stuff as well. So not only Diddy going down, I think his sons might be charged with some stuff too. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. All right. Lord have mercy. All right, so let's go ahead and get to Jonathan Majors, okay? Jonathan Majors, honey, Jonathan Majors is in some trouble too. As y'all know, he's getting ready to be sentenced, you guys, on the 8th of this month. He did ask the judge to throw it out, to throw out the charges, the assault charges. The judge said no. So they are getting ready to charge him. He's getting ready. Well, he's already been charged, but they're getting ready to sentence him. He's going to be sentenced on April the 8th. Yeah, April 8th, he will be sentenced, okay? As you guys can see on my screen, it says that the judge denies Jonathan Majors' request to drop charges in the assault case, and sentencing is set for April the 8th. Shout out to the Shade Room because that's where we're looking. All right. It says that Jonathan Majors recently requested that a judge overturn his guilty verdict in the assault case against Grace Jabari. That's the ex-Snow Bunny, okay? It says that on Wednesday morning, which is today, that a judge denied that request, which means that he will be sentenced on April the 8th. It says, as previously reported, that Majors was convicted of 1 count of assault and 1 count of harassment for allegedly assaulting Jabari. It goes on to say that he's reportedly facing up to 1 year behind bars, okay? It says earlier this year that Majors' legal team filed to have the charges tossed on the basis that his charges were unfairly assigned towards the end of the trial against his ex-girlfriend, but the judge decided against it. So he will be sentenced and he is facing jail time. So we're going to see on the 8th what they actually do. You know, it's going to be on every news outlet. I'm pretty sure TMZ is probably going to pick it up first because they're always on their shit like that. But as I get updates, you guys will get it as well. Of course, y'all know that it's Jonathan Majors. And it's sad. His whole fucking career is going downhill over a moment. But I still feel like the ex-girlfriend should be charged because in the videos that I saw, he was running away from her to get away from her in that situation. And she was running behind him like she was still trying to be on the mess. Like, and I said she initiated, and I'm not excusing the fact that he hit her or assaulted her, but she initiated it by grabbing his phone. And they didn't even charge her with that. You took his property without his consent. You snatched his phone away and was trying to go through his phone. That's a crime. You can't do that. If he didn't give you permission to go through it, that is his personal property. Regardless if you're dating him, women, you got to understand that. You got to, and I know it sucks. I know if he's cheating on you, that's your instinct to want to go through their phone. I ain't doing that shit. I don't feel like I need to. But if you're doing that and somebody called the police, you can get charges because that is their personal property. That can be listed as assault. It could. And that's what happened with him. Obviously, he had somebody in that phone that he didn't want her to see that was in there. And the situation went downhill from there. So I hate that for him because his whole career is getting ready to take a whole plummet behind this bullshit had he not been fooling with this damn Grace Jabari. And as you guys also know, she is filing a civil suit against him now that he's been found guilty of these assault charges against her. So she's milking this as much as she can. He's already going to be destroyed behind this case alone. So now that she's doing this civil suit, it's for money. We know that. And to further destroy his reputation. So she winning, I guess. Shit. She winning. It don't make me feel good. But then again, that should be a lesson to him. Because his ass did hurry up and run back to a sister. Megan, he ran on back over there to Megan, child. So we'll see, child. And she is sticking and staying with his ass. She is sticking and staying with him. All right. She cried and everything in court with him. So we'll see what it's giving, child. We will see. I'm gonna see if her ass still stay with him when he go to jail. You gonna be his pen pal, buddy, going up to the jail, putting money on his commissary and all that. We'll see, child. And don't nothing break up a relationship like a man going to jail. You ain't trying to be waiting on that shit. But let's move on, child. All right, Jennifer Lopez, honey. Jennifer Lopez's career is taking a hit behind these Diddy allegations. Jennifer Lopez is currently on tour. She's going on a world tour, as you guys may know if y'all follow that. I don't really fool with her like that because I don't really think Jennifer Lopez can sing. She's a great entertainer, meaning dancing. But I don't like her singing. I'm not really a huge singer. She got some great songs, but vocal-wise, I don't think she's a great vocalist. I don't. No cap. But she is currently on tour, and her tour is not doing well. She's had to cancel 7 shows so far, and it's steady going bad because her ticket sales. Somebody said J-Lo cannot sing. She can't sing. No cap. She's had to cancel 7 shows, you guys. She's had to cancel 7 dates because her ticket sales are doing horrible since these new Diddy allegations came out, where she's been named in this. Y'all remember the 96 pow-powing or 2006 pow-powing, where she was with Diddy when she and Diddy were dating. And it was said that she handed Diddy to pow-pow, that she was involved in some of these things with Diddy. So now that all this stuff is coming back up, people are kind of shying away from Jennifer Lopez, and it's hurting her pockets very, very badly. Very, very badly. She can dance her ass off. Y'all know she was one of the Fly Girls. Okay, y'all remember the Fly Girls? She was one of the Fly Girls. But yeah, she is her tour is taking a huge hit, guys, from these Diddy allegations, and I know that shit is making her so mad because she's on a world tour. She's on a world tour, and her ticket sales are not doing well. So she's steady having to cancel shows as a result of that. Somebody said, "Oh well." I knew y'all won't go care about that, but hey, that's in conjunction to this Diddy stuff, so we got to talk about it, okay? She shouldn't have been fooling with him. I mean, hell, you wanted to be black. Now you get to see what it is to be black. Fooling with Diddy. Okay, fooling with Diddy. Now you done lost your damn tour and your damn money. That's what it is. You run around with a damn bandana on like you was a sister. Now take this heat like a sister, okay? Moving on, child. We ain't gonna stay on it no more. That's what your ass get. I'm sorry. All right, so let's go on and get into some Carlos King news. I ain't really want to talk about his ass, but this is hot news, so let's talk about it. Carlos King says that Juan Dixon child is the most disrespectful man on TV. Now, how pray tell did he get worse than Martell Ho? I didn't think that shit was possible. Did y'all? Let's go and pull this up, child. Let's go and pull this up. Let's let it catch up, child. Let's let it catch up. Somebody said y'all don't care for J-Lo from no block. I know that's right. Okay, I don't know what block she think her ass is from. She about to be from the poor block because they ain't about to be buying them damn tickets. All right, so Carlos King, guys, says that Juan Dixon is the most disrespected man on reality television. Says it is effed up. Your wife had to stand alone to answer questions about the transgressions that he made. Now, my thing is this, Carlos. This is my problem with Carlos. Carlos King is very contradicting, okay? Because you didn't have that same energy when it came to Melody Cherie sitting on that stage while she was by herself and everybody sat there and bullied her while she cried, while Martell was coming for her. You weren't there for her, but you cried for Martell. So now you are talking about Juan Dixon got to be the worst man on television. No, he is bad. Don't get me wrong. He's a sucky ass, trash ass individual. And so is Martell. I've never heard you say any of that about Martell. He done cheated on Mel, had a whole baby on Mel. He done did all the shit that he's done. He just got out of jail for being, harassing communications and DV in the 3rd degree, a whole bunch of shit. But I've never once heard you say that about Martell. You sat up there and cried, talking about, we want the best for you. I want you to do this, and you guys deserve to be together. Like, stop it. Okay? Stop it. Stop it. Now, you want to go in on Juan Dixon. Juan Dixon, like I said, is trash. But you did not have that same energy for damn Martell. You didn't have that same energy for Drew Sidor, husband Ralph, because he's a trash ass nigga too. Him and Martell Holt are very good friends. Drew Sidor, husband Ralph Pittman, and Martell Holt are best friends. And why are they? Because they both act the same. They're both narcs. They're both controlling. They're both cheaters. Same bullshit. Juan Dixon, you are too. You a narc who ain't got no fucking job, who stand over there on Robin, cheating on her. It's a whole plethora of bullshit. Let's go ahead and play this, what they had to say, child. Because I said, I know damn well. I know.
Dixon has to be, hands down, the most disrespectful man I've ever seen on reality television.
I would agree with that.
I think it is so fucked up that your wife has to stand alone to answer questions about the transgressions that he made in his life that impacted her and her position on this show. It was sad to see that Robin had to sit there and answer questions about Juan as the breadwinner, as the person who is on the show for 8 seasons, and she didn't do nothing wrong. Robin didn't go out there and cheat with her ex and don't know who the father is. Hey, Mia. And we love Mama Mia, baby. But I've said this once and I'll say it again, and I actually like Robin a lot. Robin, if you're listening, that man don't love you. He doesn't love you because the only way it would make sense to me is this. If you did something to him, we got Gordon showing up for Mia. We'll get to that in a second. Gordon showed up for Mia. And Mia has lay it low and spread it wide with her ex, baby. Okay? And Gordon even showed up to support the mother of his kids.
Hey, we probably can be stupid for a man. You've been stupid for a man before, Carlos, right?
We've all been stupid for a man.
But he got to show some kind of, for me to stay stupid, he got to at least act like he cares. This man act like he don't like her. This man act like he don't respect her. This man not even act like he doesn't respect her.
He does. That's the T. He doesn't respect her at all.
Martell,
and he gives her lame excuses, and she just goes for it like she's stupid. And I love Robin too. I just don't think she's dumb. I think she's just trying to save face. It ain't none of our brother tucking business how you live your life. But if y'all gonna put it on TV like this, then the man need to answer for these questions. But the problem is he ain't got no answer. So why come?
No, he had answers. He had, this is the thing. He had answers on the show. But we all know that answers was a bunch of bullshit.
But support your wife. It's showing that he gives her no support at all in any way, financially, emotionally. You know what I'm saying? He makes her feel like she's not worthy. And I hate that for Robin because I love Robin. I don't know Ron from Adam Ant, but it looks like on the show, he's not a supportive husband in any realm.
Juan Dixon.
What y'all think about that? Now, I'm going to just say this. I'm going to say this because I feel like a lot of the traits that Juan carries, so does Martell. But I don't like how Carlos can always see it when it's on somebody else, but not on his own people, on his own platform. Like, you sat up there and damn near praised Martell for the way he did with Melody. You saw how he was aggressive towards Mel, and you didn't stand up for Melody as a woman. Melody did everything she could to keep her marriage together to Martell, but it becomes a time when you just got to be like, no more. I don't think Robin is to that place with Juan. I feel like she's gotten comfortable with the fact that they've been together for so long, even though it's toxic. So she has become comfortable being in toxicity, even though they got children. You ain't got to stay with somebody because you got kids with them. I feel like she feels sorry for Juan because he doesn't have a job, and by her dumping him now, would just have him thrown to the wolves. And then maybe she don't want to see nobody else with him because she's been with him for so long. I don't think they should have gotten remarried because I don't think they married again for love. I think Juan still has some animosity towards her because she lost a great deal of his money, which is why he is in a very low place like he is right now. I think he still blames her. I think he's still mad at her low-key about that. And I think he goes out and does whatever the hell he wants as long as he comes back home. And I don't think that Robin is able to question him. I think that's their arrangement. And I think he's been doing that. They talked about it on Real Housewives of Potomac when Ashley said that she saw Juan out with one of her friends. We've seen several posts in several news outlets talking about Juan was with this woman. Juan was at the laundromat with this woman. Juan was at a hotel with this woman. Robin can't be that stupid and oblivious to what's going on in her marriage. But until she gets tired and she decides to walk out of that door and say, hey, I can't do this no more. Like, I done lost my job behind this situation. Now, what is she going to do just buying a new home and Juan ain't working? Like, what is she going to do? Because I'm pretty sure that Real Housewives of Potomac chick was helping her pay her bills, pay her mortgage, Now, how you gonna pay your mortgage and take care of your responsibilities and your kids when Juan ain't got no fucking job? So it's like having a third child, and not only that, the fact that he's staying with you in your home and disrespecting you as well and not contributing. Like, that's giving. No, I could not do that. I don't know. Maybe I'm just built different. I told you I'm old school. I was raised old school. I just could not. He the way he talks to Robin, the way he looks at her, like it's like he's disgusted by Robin. Their wedding pictures, he stood up there and like just about every picture he was frowning. I said, what the hell kind of wedding is this? A hot damn mess, y'all. Oh my God. But let's continue, child. I'm sick and tired of this situation. But Robin is off the show, guys. Robin is off the damn show. All right, so we got through those. All right, so let's get into this video that I pulled that's going to be breaking down this case with the similarities of Diddy and R. Kelly's charges and the fact that they are getting ready to pounce on Diddy. Diddy's ass is getting ready to go down. The same attorney who helped to convict R. Kelly is going to be speaking up on what she feels is getting ready to take place with Diddy. Okay. Shout out to Law and Crime Network. All right. Let's make it a little bigger. Can everybody see my screen? Shout out again to Law and Crime Network. Okay. And we're going in.
I am joined by Nadia Shihata. She is one of the New York prosecutors on the R. Kelly case, one of the people who helped put him away. She is now a criminal defense attorney. Nadia, so good to have you on here, Sidebar. Thank you for taking the time.
Thank you for having me.
What is your reaction to the Diddy case, the Diddy raids?
Well, I think it's a significant development in the case. Obviously, he's presumed innocent. No charges have been filed against him. But when you take a step like executing search warrants so publicly at two different locations, it means you have amassed significant evidence. You've got probable cause to believe a crime has been committed, which is the same standard for arrest. So it's significant. Now, obviously, as a federal prosecutor, you want to make sure you have proof beyond a reasonable doubt when you charge a case. So they're continuing to investigate, but it's certainly a significant step.
I am starting to believe. I was saying maybe it's surprising that they didn't have arrests in conjunction with the raid or an indictment in conjunction with the raid. And then I started thinking, well, they obviously had probable cause. Perhaps they were speaking with people, but they needed more evidence on those properties. Perhaps before there was an allegation, maybe before it was destroyed, they want to preserve it. They want to get that evidence. They might be issuing subpoenas to people. I think that now I'm wondering if we may not see potential criminal charges for a while, because it also might have to be submitted to a grand jury too, right? So we shouldn't expect perhaps charges against Diddy maybe for a little bit.
Absolutely. Look, if they're following kind of the playbook we used in R. Kelly and pursuing similar charges as we did in that case, these types of cases, take a little bit of time to investigate and to make sure you're corroborating all the victim testimony you're getting. You want phone records, you want travel records. There's all sorts of corroboration that you're sending out subpoenas for, that you're speaking to people about, and then also conducting searches to help with that.
What did you think of the fact, the criticism from Diddy's lawyer that this was an excessive military style use of force? What's your take on that?
Look, it did appear that there were some kind of military vehicles used. As prosecutors, you're not kind of.
Oh, sorry for the ad. Oh, I hate this. 3, 2, 1, and we're back.
Calling the shots on how agents operationally conduct a search. My guess is, giving them the benefit of the doubt, that there were allegations that there were firearms in the property. It's a very large property, and Diddy likely had security with firearms. So they have to secure the location and they have to ensure the safety of everyone conducting the search. So, sometimes they err on the side of using as much firepower as possible in those circumstances.
Yeah, especially given the allegations and the lawsuits, which makes me wonder, do you think the lawsuits are what precipitated this? Do you think the people who are accusing Diddy of wrongdoing are the ones who might be cooperating witnesses and what set this ball rolling?
I think it's very possible that the public filing of that first lawsuit came to the attention of federal agents and prosecutors and may have sparked this. And then obviously the follow-on lawsuits, once that first lawsuit was public, have only added to the allegations. And as a prosecutor, you know, you might start with the people who have made allegations publicly in a lawsuit, but I don't think they're going to stop there by any means. That's just the beginning. And then you're investigating, you're talking to more people. Other victims may be coming forward who have not been public at all now that they're seeing that this is a serious investigation. So it's a starting point.
We don't know what they found in the house, and I'm going to ask you about what you think they might be looking for. But for example, if there was an allegation, hey, Diddy has guns all over the place.
Miami house.
You go to the properties and there are firearms all over the place. That kind of corroborates what they're being told, and that could be useful for prosecutors in trying to establish a case. Establishing what they're being told is real. But what do you think they're looking for specifically if they are moving forward in a sex trafficking investigation?
They're looking for anything that is corroborating information that has been given to them by live witnesses and victims. So, I mean, it's been reported they were looking for electronic devices. Sure, they're going to be looking for videos potentially of sexual activity engaged in with complaining victims, but they're also going to be looking for communications, particularly if they are pursuing potential RICO charges. I think they're going to be looking particularly for communications between Diddy and his inner circle, his inner network of people that may have helped or facilitated or enabled him to commit potential criminal activity.
Now, the reason I was so excited to talk to you about this is because you were part of a very infamous prosecution of a very infamous individual. Do you see similarities between the Combs case? Let me rephrase. Combs hasn't been charged, but do you see similarities if we're talking about potential sex trafficking charges? You know what the allegations are right now against Mr. Combs. Do you see similarities between him and R. Kelly?
Look, every case is different, obviously, but there do appear to be some similarities based on the public allegations that have been made. For example, the allegations about forcing individuals to have sex with others for the pleasure of Diddy in this circumstance. There were similar allegations with R. Kelly, and that he recorded that activity. So it's a pretty striking similarity in that sense.
But also the level of influence and power, right? I mean, a big part of it when I'm reading the lawsuits is just, you surround yourself with this team. You have tremendous wealth, access, this lifestyle. It was eerily reminiscent of what we were hearing from Kelly, right?
Absolutely. I mean, when you reach a certain level of fame and you've got a group of people around you that are literally there to help you with whatever whim you have, legal or illegal, and are getting paid to do so, and are, more than happy to turn a blind eye to whatever else may be going on. That's a very big similarity. Again, these are just allegations at this point against Mr. Combs, but yes.
And yeah, he hasn't been criminally charged. So when his lawyer says there's been no criminal liability, no civil liability, he's exactly right. Those lawsuits are still pending. The lawsuit with Cassie Ventura was settled. At the time of this recording, Sean Combs has not been criminally charged in any way. Want to make that clear. But I always thought it was interesting when you think about how the Kelly criminal prosecution began, how it started. It wasn't, would you say it was from the documentary that was released that kind of got the ball rolling? Because again, you wonder, what is the thing that gets going? With Harvey Weinstein, it was that New York Times article. With R. Kelly, it was a really damaging documentary. Maybe that was what you could say started the ball rolling. Here with Combs, maybe it was these lawsuits. I find it so interesting, the similarities with what begins a criminal investigation.
Yeah, look, in R. Kelly, there's no doubt that the documentary and the public airing of allegations certainly came to the attention of law enforcement, and we began looking into it. But again, in all of these cases, that's just the starting point. To bring a federal criminal prosecution, you really have to amass credible evidence that you can prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt. But the public airing of such information against well-known people, that does get investigations started. There's no doubt about that.
What was it like prosecuting R. Kelly?
You know, we tried to, as best we could, approach it as we would any other important case that we prosecuted. Obviously, there was a lot of media attention to it, and R. Kelly fans. I would say the biggest thing that could have potentially affected the case was a lot of our victims received a lot of harassment on social media and so forth, and that takes a toll on people and certainly makes them hesitant to want to move forward with a case.
When you were first prosecuting him, did you see a lot of people coming to R. Kelly's defense? Because at this time, I don't know if I'm seeing that so much with Diddy. Actually, what we're seeing is a lot of videos coming out from years ago that are looked at in a different context. You see high-profile celebrities who are making these comments, these innuendos about him. I don't see a ton of defense for Diddy. When you were first going after Kelly, I mean, was there a ton of? Were you yourself receiving any backlash, any threats? Was there a lot of support for him?
It wasn't support from kind of public, well-known figures, but he had a lot of kind of just regular fan support that would post on social media, YouTube channels, send emails, mostly to victims, not to the prosecutors. But we did receive, you know, some of our own kind of threats and such.
That's so disappointing to hear. So if this is a case where Diddy is ultimately arrested, ultimately charged, federal prosecutors, what advice would you give them prosecuting a well-known figure like Diddy?
Start the ad, guys. Oh my God. 3, 2, 1, and we're back.
I would tell them to put their heads down and pursue it as they would any other case. Try to block out all the noise and just build your case step by step, put all the pieces of the puzzle together. And, you know, if it's reportedly the Southern District of New York, those are very good prosecutors, and that's what I would expect them to do.
And how do you prove it? What do you have to show in a sex trafficking related case? What do you have to prove to make that conviction?
Yeah, so it depends exactly how they're pursuing this. If they do it through a RICO, which I suspect they're probably looking into, they're going to need to show an enterprise, so an inner circle, a group that helps him facilitate a pattern of criminal activity. And then that pattern can include things like forced labor or sex trafficking. The sex trafficking here could be, you know, transporting people via his private plane or otherwise to commit commercial sex. And commercial sex doesn't necessarily have to mean, you know, paying money, but also receiving anything of value. So he's making videos of this activity. That could be a thing of value as well. So, and using force or fraud or coercion to do that. And so abusing victims, putting them in humiliating situations,
Right.
That could all be part of that. Or
promising them money or something of value and then not delivering it. That would classify it as well.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, and what would be the challenges that prosecutors would face? Legal challenges. How would someone in Diddy's position, or if someone was arrested, you know, someone else in connection with this, how do they defend it? What kind of arguments would you expect from the defense that you would have to fight back on?
Yeah, if they pursue RICO charges, I imagine a defense would be that there was no criminal enterprise, that this, to the extent there was criminal activity, this was one person acting alone. And if it's not RICO, a lot of it would potentially fall outside of the statute of limitations. So the advantage of RICO is it lets you go kind of decades potentially in the past, and also it expands venue. So you can charge criminal activity that occurred not just in the Southern District of New York, but throughout the country. If that's taken away, you know, that would be a big hit to the scope of any criminal indictment.
Last year, Diddy's ex-girlfriend, Cassandra Ventura, who you probably know as singer Cassie, accused him of sex trafficking and sexual slavery. She alleged that Diddy raped her and beat her so severely that she was bruised. Cassie also alleged Diddy made her have sex with prostitutes and recorded it on video. She also says he forced her to carry a gun. Cassie sued him under New York's Adult Survivors Act and settled with Diddy outside of court just one day after the suit was filed. Joy Dickerson Neal also filed suit against Diddy under the Adult Survivors Act, accusing him of drugging and sexually assaulting her back in 1991 when she was a college student at Syracuse University. Diddy was slammed with yet another lawsuit last month, this time brought on by music producer Rodney Jones, also known as Lil Rod. The 73-page lawsuit lays out dozens of allegations against Diddy, including that he forced Lil Rod to hire prostitutes and have sex with them. The court doc also claims Diddy himself assaulted Lil Rod, but that's not the only bombshell allegations revealed in the detailed documents. Lil Rod doesn't shy away from publicly naming other celebrities he says assaulted him.
I don't know that Cuba Gooding Jr. is going to escape from that one.
Let's start with the allegations against Academy Award-winning actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Lil Rod alleges Diddy was, quote, grooming him to pass him off to his friends. This fear became reality when Mr. Combs introduced Mr. Jones to Cuba Gooding Jr. when they were on Mr. Combs' yacht. There's actually photos of their interaction together too, which are laid out in those court documents. In the first pic, you see Diddy and Cuba talking with Diddy's arms on Cuba's. In the next pic, Cuba has his arm around Lil Rod and is smirking. Court docs go on to state, quote, Cuba Gooding Jr. began touching, groping, and fondling Mr. Jones's legs, his inner thighs near his groin, the small of his back near his buttocks, and his shoulders. He rejected his advances, and Mr. Gooding Jr. did not stop until Mr. Jones forcibly pushed him away.
In the last couple of years, there were allegations against him for sexual assault. So now we have those prior allegations, and now we see him tied to this case as allegedly trying to, assault a Lil Rod, assault others.
Back in 2019, Cuba was booked on misdemeanor charges of forcible touching and sexual abuse after he allegedly groped a woman in Times Square. By the next year, 3 women had come forward accusing him of non-consensual sexual touching. He eventually reached a deal with prosecutors that required 6 months of counseling but no jail time.
With Georgia registered agents, we have experienced local experts on our side. Because we own
bulk of
I'm getting the feeling where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Because now we have 2 different instances where you're accused of the same type of behavior, years apart. I think there's something there. And I don't know that Cuba Gooding Jr. is going to escape from that one, because he already saw definitely people moving away from him within Hollywood circles and other circles once those first sexual assault allegations came out. So at this point, I don't think he's going to get away with it a second time.
Is it possible that he could face charges based on these allegations that were brought forward by Lil Rod?
It is possible as well. Again, we've got the statute of limitations issue to deal with. So depending on the time frame of when this happened, is, again, the Adult Survivors Act, which was the vehicle where many of these lawsuits came out, many of these civil lawsuits, came out, there was a finite amount of time for those suits to be filed. The time frame is going to be very, very important. What witnesses come forward, because again, this may not be a situation where DNA may be at play. This may be more of a situation of, hey, yes, I was there and I recall, Cuba Gooding Jr., putting his hands on Lil Rod, or I recall certain aspects. So it's going to be a very witness intensive type of case. And the question is, will the witnesses be willing to come forward?
Lil Rod's lawsuit also publicly named another celebrity linked to Diddy, Jennifer Lopez.
From the standpoint of the names of the celebrities that were tied to this, the fact that Jennifer Lopez was tied to this back when she was involved in or party to a shooting at a nightclub when she was dating Diddy, and is now alleged to have brought the gun with her to the scene and gave it to Diddy, and that's how the shooting occurred.
Lil Rod's team brings up J-Lo when establishing Diddy's history, writing his, quote, RICO enterprise has existed for at least 20 years, dating back to the 1999 nightclub shooting in NYC, when Mr. Combs required his then-girlfriend Jennifer Lopez to transport his illegal firearm into the NYC nightclub. The court docs allege Diddy forced his then-artist Shine to assume responsibility for the shooting of several individuals. All this happened back on December 27th, 1999, when a fight broke out at a nightclub. Diddy, J-Lo, and rapper Shine were all there, and according to former rapper Mark Curry, Diddy paid Shine $1 million to take the fall for the shooting and serve a 10-year prison sentence. Lil Rod's lawsuit now suggests it was J-Lo who brought the gun. The fact that she's named as somebody who was carrying a weapon, could that be incriminating for Jennifer Lopez?
It can be, but with a huge caveat, right? If I'm not mistaken, that shooting did not result in a death. I know that somebody was harmed, but I don't believe anyone was killed. Because of that, you have the statute of limitations to deal with, which is basically a prolonged amount of a certain amount of time that a prosecutor has to be able to bring charges against someone. And it varies from state to state. But the one thing is consistent is that there is no statute of limitations on murder. So if P. Diddy had actually killed this person, or the person died as a result of their injuries, now J-Lo could be brought into the mix as a co-defendant because of the fact that the person has passed away. But if the person is alive, and maybe they had serious injuries or whatever the case may be, statute of limitations would run. And it is highly likely at this juncture that statute of limitations have expired. Therefore, she does not have any criminal liability. But the reputational damage might be a different story, because now she's branding herself as something very different than who she was back then. Back then, she was very much Jenny from the block. She was, dating a variety of hip hop artists. She was very much in that world. Now she's married to Ben Affleck. She's trying to, portray herself in a different manner. So now her past is going to come back to haunt her. And we don't know what that's going to mean for her future in terms of movie deals, music deals, or anything like that. So I think for her, it might be more reputational damage than criminal liability.
Pearson says it's possible Jennifer Lopez could file some sort of defamation suit, but it's not likely.
She could, but at the end of the day, when it comes to defamation and those types of cases, truth is an absolute defense. So if he has some sort of receipts to basically prove that, hey, I was right there, I saw her the same way in the filings, you saw a number of different screenshots and pictures that he submitted to support the different points that he was making. If he has some pictures to substantiate that she was carrying the gun, it's going to be very hard for her to say in good conscience in a court of law that, this wasn't true, he's made this up, and now as a result, I've lost, money, I've lost opportunities and things like that. There's going to be too much evidence out there connecting her to this that is going to be very hard for a jury to come back and say, yeah, he's making all of this up.
Mm-hmm. But it's not just artists that Lil Rod named either. He specifically mentioned Prince Harry, the Duke of Sussex, in his court documents. It reads in part, quote, Mr. Combs was known for throwing the best parties. Affiliation with and or sponsorship of Mr. Combs' sex trafficking parties garnered legitimacy and access to political figures, artists, musicians, and international dignitaries like British Royal Prince Harry. Why even name Prince Harry? There's no allegations against him or anything, but why bring him up?
I think it may have been a move to bring more credibility to the filing and say that, basically he being Diddy, was using his fame, fortune, and influence to insulate himself. So he was able to legitimize some of the activities he was doing by having these lavish parties, bringing all these A-list celebrities, but somewhere in a back room or somewhere in another wing, horrible things were happening. So the fact that Prince Harry was there does not necessarily mean he was participating in what was happening. And just because you were at a party doesn't mean you know what's happening in every inch of the house. I mean, if you think about it, if the party's being thrown in a mansion, there are various floors and wings. So it is completely possible that he was there and did not participate. Now, if you had said Prince Andrew, especially as a result of the allegations that came out in connection with the Epstein case, that they were close and that they traveled together, and there was a person that alleged that he had sexually assaulted her while she was underage, that would be a different story. But Prince Harry and the way that it was mentioned seemed to be very, again, just sort of trying to bring legitimacy and talk about these were the people that Diddy surrounded himself by to protect himself.
So Prince Harry has no formal accusations against him, but the name association could cause damage to his reputation. Even so, Pearson says it's not likely he files any sort of defamation suit.
It's possible that Prince Harry may be able to preserve his reputation. But again, just in light of everything him and the Duchess of Sussex, Meghan Markle, have been through, I truly really hope that, you know, he's able to completely distance himself, maybe make a statement, because again, since he's not necessarily under the umbrella of the royal family directly, so in other words, Buckingham Palace would not be releasing a statement on his behalf. It would be him releasing a statement and saying, yes, I went to X party, but no, I never engaged in any inappropriate behavior or other details that he may see fit to share. So that's going to be, you know, we're going to have to wait and see on that one. But again, since it was such a minuscule mention in the
got another ad, guys. Sorry, there's no
actually engaging in activities, more that he was present at the parties. So I don't recall seeing a lot of fallout on the part of President Clinton from that association.
Speaking of Epstein, Lil Rod's court docs draw a parallel between Diddy's alleged crimes and Jeffrey Epstein's. Epstein died by suicide back in 2019 when he faced numerous charges of sexual assault over the course of multiple years. His longtime companion, Ghislaine Maxwell, was charged and found guilty of sex trafficking in relation to her time with Epstein. She's currently serving out a lengthy prison sentence.
R. Kelly had a handler. You know, Epstein had a handler. Weinstein had a handler. Everybody has, in those scenarios of those powerful people, powerful men that are abusing other people, they have someone that does their dirty work. And it's usually not only just one person, it's several people who may have different duties. So again, you know, seeing this woman being his handler, being the person to get him drugs, being the person to procure sex workers for him, being the person to basically be on cleanup duty in case of, you know, covering up or silencing people that might want to come forward, you know, that's not unusual. And she is also going to bear the brunt of criminal liability, just like Ghislaine Maxwell did, and basically had to take the entire brunt of the criminal justice system alone because of the fact that, you know, Epstein committed suicide and was not able to be held accountable.
According to Pearson, Diddy and many of his associates will likely face federal charges, but it's not totally clear when.
That's the guy Brendan with Diddy's drug mule being arrested.
Brand new video just released shows the arrest of P. Diddy's alleged drug mule, who was taken into custody while trying to board the rapper's private jet. We don't hear a word from Brendan Paul, the alleged drug mule, but he doesn't look too happy when he's put in the backseat of a squad car.
Wow, this is really big. This is really big because you're thinking about this huge mogul. Like everyone knows who Puffy is, who Diddy is, who Puff Daddy is, who Sean Combs is. No matter what his name, you know who he is.
Here's everything we know so far about that alleged drug mule, Brendan Paul, and the P. Diddy case so far.
The question that I will have and I'm curious to see what will happen is that whether they're going to use those charges against Brendan to try to flip him, to try to get him to cooperate against any type of prosecution against Puffy or others.
In this specific lawsuit, Lil Rod lists more than 10 plaintiffs, but includes additional names, like that of Brendan Paul, who's listed as Diddy's mule, who allegedly, quote, acquires and distributes Mr. Combs' drugs and guns. On Monday, Paul was reportedly arrested at the airport in Miami while trying to board Diddy's private jet. Florida officers were working with Homeland Security and Customs when they found drugs in his bag. These drugs were tested and the results led to his arrest. He was booked for cocaine and controlled substance possession.
So far, Brendan has only been arrested for possession of a controlled substance. And this is for the narcotics that they recovered, I believe, in one of his bags that was on the airplane where he was stopped in the airport, Miami airport on Monday. So they haven't linked that to Puffy at all. As of now, it's just for the simple possession, which is still a felony. The question that I will have and I'm curious to see what will happen is that whether they're going to use those charges against Brendan to try to flip him, to try to get him to cooperate against any type of prosecution against Puffy or others.
I think he will.
All of this means Brendan Paul is facing felonies in Florida and could even face more charges in the future.
I mean, a felony, you can still do jail time. So it's still a serious matter. It's still a serious charge because you can do jail time having to deal with felony possession of narcotics. But just because he just got charged with those 2 counts, it doesn't mean that in the future he's not going to be charged with several other counts. It all depends where this investigation leads. But again, if I were Puffy, if I were anyone that were associated with Brendan Paul, I would be nervous because it's possible that he can't cooperate in order to avoid any jail time and actually sing on other people.
You talked about him flipping or working with prosecutors, investigators, and giving more details. What would all of that look like behind the scenes?
Six Flags Over Georgia is open daily for spring break, March 30th through April 7th. For a limited time, get a...
We're back.
Ooh. Well, it's something that we're not supposed to know about, but given that I used to be a prosecutor for 16 years, when it comes to cooperating, well, number one, he has to be willing to cooperate. And that's going to be a conversation between the prosecutors and his attorneys, and his attorneys will talk to Brendan to see whether that's an avenue they want to take. I mean, personally, depending on how much exposure he has in terms of jail or how much exposure he has about pending other charges that can come about this entire investigation, it may be a question where he's like, it's not worth it for him to cooperate because he'll be scared of any backlash. He'll be scared of being blacklisted in the industry, and he'll just be scared in general that he'll be known as a person that cooperated against Puffy. But this is a conversation that he needs to have with his attorney, and also for the prosecutors to determine whether they're even willing to offer any type of cooperation deal to Mr. Paul.
Here's what we know about Brendan Paul so far. He's 25 years old and from Ohio. He played guard for Syracuse University's basketball team for 2 years before transferring to Fairmont State University. According to a post on his Facebook, he started making beats on his laptop during the pandemic, which kickstarted his work in the music industry. Eventually, he found Diddy and worked on Diddy's Love album, Off the Grid, that was released last fall. Since his arrest a few days ago, Paul has been released on $2,500 bail. The rest of what we know about Paul comes from Lil Rod's February lawsuit that described him as a direct report of Diddy's chief of staff. That's Christina Quorum, who's also listed as a plaintiff in the lawsuit. As this so-called direct report, Paul would allegedly, quote, be responsible for ensuring payment for sex workers in cash. He also allegedly, quote, directly committed and perpetrated violations of Chapter 77 by aiding, abetting, and inducing the sex trafficking venture and sex trafficking of Plaintiff Jones. So Plaintiff Jones is Lil Rod, who alleges Diddy sexually assaulted him and forced him to have sex with prostitutes. Lil Rod's lawsuit goes on to state that Diddy's associates, including Brendan Paul, would allegedly recruit, entice, coerce, harbor, transport, obtain, and provide Mr. Jones, as well as others, into commercial sex acts through means of force, threats of force, fraud, abuse of process, and coercion.
I'm sure that those people that are named in that lawsuit are very nervous right now, very nervous, even more nervous now after the execution of that search warrant, but also nervous because he revealed about these secret recordings, and they're wondering whether they could have been secretly recorded. Are there recordings of them engaging in these type of activities? Because even though it may not be criminal, some of those activities, it still does tarnish their image. So they can still take a toll in terms of their branding. But in terms of the the lawsuit itself, it's very damaging. You got to think that several companies have already distanced themselves from Puffy, and there haven't been any criminal charges. All you see is a civil lawsuit. So I think there's still going to be more things that are going to come about as a result of that civil lawsuit. But I think the most damaging, again, is Cassie's lawsuit. But more importantly, I think is Little Rod's lawsuit that was filed.
And in the civil lawsuit, Lil Rod specifically, that Brendan Paul is listed almost 20 times. It's alleged that he's a drug mule. So he's getting different kinds of drugs for P. Diddy. He's also procuring prostitutes or sex workers. So if this is eventually investigated and prosecutors determine that there's enough to charge him, what sort of charges would he face?
Well, what you can see from the civil lawsuit, that is possible that Little Rod would be serving as a witness in any criminal prosecution having to deal with Brendan Paul and him being a drug mule. And where you're talking about him being a drug mule, he is facing significant jail time. First off, anything over a day or 2 days or even a month for someone who's never been arrested is significant jail time. But I see Little Rod being one of the main witnesses if Brendan Paul were to be arrested for drug trafficking, because he's saying that he has direct knowledge and photographs that he can authenticate of Brendan Paul being in possession of narcotics in these parties or these gatherings that Puffy was having.
To be very clear, Brendan Paul doesn't face those criminal charges, only the controlled substance charges out of Florida. So we have his specific charges that he's facing for possession of these controlled substances. Are the investigators in that case then working with the federal investigators about this ongoing investigation into P. Diddy?
Well, more than likely that the federal investigators, of course, are going to get the documents and anything related to this arrest because they want to see if they're able to connect this to their bigger investigation. Again, we keep on saying that the investigation is into Puffy. We don't have direct knowledge that it is. Of course, that will make an emphasis because his homes were searched, but we believe that what they're wanting to do is do further investigation with law enforcement, the Florida case, to see if there's a way that they can tie his arrest to Puffy. But as of now, there has been no link between his arrest on Monday and to Puffy.
Other people listed in the lawsuits or who are close with Diddy haven't been arrested or charged either, but it's possible they could face future charges. We've talked a lot about Diddy's associates because there are several people who are listed in multiple of these lawsuits. He's known to have friends who are with him a lot, almost like an entourage. If I'm one of those people right now, and I know that there has been a search warrant executed, that Brendan Paul has been arrested, what sort of steps should I be taking, or what is running through my mind?
Girl, what they need to do is get an attorney immediately, and not just any attorney, but a criminal defense attorney with trial experience to know how to manage an investigation, how to manage what the next steps would be, how to manage to try to be proactive in trying to avoid charges being brought against their client or to try to minimize their exposure. But I think they should be preparing that there may be called in at least for questioning or to be interviewed by law enforcement. So they should be preparing for that.
Is it possible that we could also hear from other associates who knew Diddy very well and have seen some of these interactions?
Absolutely. You got to think with law enforcement, the U.S. Attorney's Office, even with the District Attorney's Office, that they can issue subpoenas, and issuing subpoenas to these people will require them to appear either before a grand jury or before a court to appear to be interviewed. That doesn't mean that they will appear. It doesn't mean that when they do appear, they'll be giving information, but at least that they will be required to appear. So what would be interesting is whether, if there's a grand jury presentation, is whether any of these individuals will be required to appear before the grand jury to give any type of testimony. But again, the most important part of what they should do is to get a defense attorney to be able to guide them through this process, because you don't want to give conflicted information to a U.S. Attorney's Office or to law enforcement and later on be prosecuted for giving that misinformation.
But without any current charges, Diddy is free to do what he pleases, and that includes leaving the country.
When Diddy's Los Angeles and Miami homes were raided by Homeland Security this week, the singer's attorney released a statement saying, quote, "We will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law. Hopefully, this is the beginning of a process that will hold Mr. Combs responsible for his depraved conduct." It wasn't
Okay, let me pause because I saw on another platform where they're saying that Diddy had to turn over his passport. So I'm not sure how he's going to leave the country without a passport. But let's continue.
The only instance a former girlfriend of Diddy's came forward alleging instances of abuse. Diddy's ex-girlfriend Gina Hunt said in a 2019 interview with controversial blogger Tasha K that Diddy allegedly stomped on her stomach and punched her in the head during one incident. Hun reportedly dated Diddy when he and Cassie were on and off. In the interview, she said she pleaded with Diddy to stop hitting her and said she couldn't breathe after he stomped on her stomach. Just like Cassie, she alleges Diddy was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive during their time together, and claimed Diddy would compare she and Cassie, saying Hun is the bad one and Cassie is the good one. Hun did not take legal action against Diddy. However, her interview resurfaced around the web when Cassie filed her lawsuit against Diddy. And after this week's raid, previous celebrity interviews are also resurfacing and revealing more about Diddy's alleged conduct. In 2016, singer Usher, who had previously lived with Diddy when he was a teenager, told radio personality Howard Stern very curious things took place at Diddy's so-called Puffy Flavor camp. Usher, who was around 13 at the time, had moved to New York City and lived with Diddy, who was going by Puff Daddy, for a year. The idea to live with Diddy came from L.A. Reid, who was Usher's manager. Usher said he went to live with Diddy for a chance to see the lifestyle and referred to the time period as a wild and crazy time in the 90s. And in a 2004 interview with Rolling Stone, Usher was quoted as saying, "Puff introduced me to a totally different set of stuff. Sex specifically. Sex is so hot in the industry. There was always girls around. You'd open a door and see somebody doing it or several people in a room having an orgy. You never know what's going to happen." But in 2016, when Stern asked whether Puffy's place was filled with chicks and orgying nonstop, Usher responded, "Not really. It was curious and he got a chance to see things, but didn't know if he could indulge and understand what he was even looking at." Usher said very curious things took place there that he didn't necessarily understand. As for if it would be a place Usher would consider sending his children to, this is what he had to say.
14 years old. You're a dad now. Would you ever send your kid to Puffy camp?
Hell no.
Meanwhile, a member of a girl group previously founded and managed by Diddy also spoke out after Diddy's homes were raided by federal agents. On Monday, Aubrey O'Day, who was a part of the group Danity Kane, shared a statement about Combs after the raid saying, quote, "What you sow, you shall reap." In December 2022, O'Day said she was fired from Danity Kane in 2008 because she wasn't willing to do what was expected of her, not talent-wise, but in other areas. She said she wasn't the only girl that was in those types of positions. This past September, Diddy announced his plans to reassign publishing rights to select Bad Boy Records artists, including O'Day's group Danity Kane. But O'Day claimed Diddy's deal came with strings attached, those strings being non-disclosure agreements, also known as NDAs, that the artist had to sign. O'Day said the NDA agreement included the artist would not disparage Puff, Bad Boy, Janice Combs, Diddy's mother, Justin Combs Music, EMI Publishing, or Sony ever in public. And despite Diddy presenting the music group Danity Kane with their publishing rights, O'Day said that doesn't equal more money for the group, saying the deal would only bring her less than $1,000 in royalties. Another former artist of Diddy also reacted to this week's raid of Diddy's homes. Rapper Mace called the raid Big Payback and said it was amazing it happened on the anniversary of Life After Death, which was the last album posthumously released by Diddy's best friend, Notorious B.I.G. Mace and Diddy have a long and embattled history. Mace was previously signed to Bad Boy Records in the 90s and the early 2000s. He gave his publishing rights to Diddy for $20,000. When he attempted to get his catalog back years later, he publicly slammed Diddy when the mogul turned down Mace's offer to buy back his publishing for $2 million. Diddy ultimately gave the publishing rights back to Mace. Mace, who had previously worked with Diddy on hits such as Can't Nobody Hold Me Down and Mo Money, Mo Problems, before going on to have a successful solo career, said he escaped Diddy. During his podcast, which he hosts with fellow rapper Cameron, he seemingly referred to the serious allegations against Diddy, saying, "Everything now that we see playing out was all the things I escaped." Meanwhile, rapper 50 Cent taunted Diddy on Instagram after the feds raided his homes. The two have been feuding since the early 2000s. 50 Cent, whose real name is Curtis Jackson, wrote, quote, "Now it's not Diddy do it, it's Diddy done. They don't come like that unless they got a case." The beef between the two seemingly dates back to 2006 when 50 released a diss track called The Bomb, where he claimed Diddy knew who shot and killed Biggie in '97. Since then, the two have made numerous comments on each other. When Cassie sued Diddy in November, 50 Cent said his production company was working on a documentary about the sexual assault allegations against Combs. even posting a clip to social media featuring bad boy rapper Mark Curry alleging Diddy spiked women's drinks at parties. The Diddy allegations also ventured into the comedy world, where comedian Cat Williams also previously made comments about Diddy's alleged wild parties. In January, Williams spoke out about Diddy during Shannon Sharp's Club Shay Shay podcast. Williams said, "I gotta protect my integrity because if P. Diddy be wanting to party, and you gotta tell him no." And just weeks prior to the raid, music producer Rodney Jones Jr., also known as Lil Rod, filed a $30 million lawsuit against Diddy, alleging sexual harassment and threatening him for more than a year. According to the suit, Jones claims he was subjected to possible drugging and rape, ritual humiliation, and being cheated out of more than $50,000 for work on Diddy's album. The suit also names actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Jones believes Diddy was grooming him in an attempt to pass him off to Gooding, leaving the two alone in a studio on Diddy's yacht, where Gooding is alleged to have groped and fondled Jones when the two were left alone. Diddy has denied Jones's allegations against him. It's not the first time Diddy Love, aka P. Diddy, aka Puff Daddy, aka Puffy, has had a brush with the law. The rapper and mega producer has been embroiled in legal controversy going back more than 30 years. In 1991, Combs helped promote a celebrity basketball game and concert at City College of New York. The gym reportedly had a capacity of a little more than 2,700 people. However, nearly 5,000 people showed up, and security couldn't control the crowd. When organizers closed the door and stopped letting attendees inside, people broke through the gym doors, rushing into the lobby, causing a stampede. 9 people were crushed to death at the bottom of the staircase, and more than 20 others were injured. Then New York City Mayor David Dinkins' administration published a more than 60-page report citing Combs for hiring inadequate and inexperienced security. Combs settled a slew of lawsuits from family members of attendees who died and finalized the last lawsuit in 2000. And for hip hop and rap fans, it's hard to imagine, but at one point, Diddy, known then as Puffy, and Suge Knight were once friends, but that relationship soured, even turning violent. The animosity between Puffy and Suge started when Suge's friend and security guard Jake Robles was shot and killed outside an Atlanta nightclub after an argument with someone from Puffy's bad boy entourage. Entourage members with Puff's and Suge Knight's camp were celebrating Jermaine Dupri's birthday when an argument broke out between Bad Boy and Death Row Records entourage. An Atlanta PD officer told the LA Times police escorted Puffy and his guests outside to leave the club and thought the coast was clear, allowing Knight and his entourage to leave. The officer who was working security for the party said all of a sudden Puffy's men came around the corner with a gun. The officer/security guard told the Times by the time he got back to the front of the club, Suge's security guard had been shot multiple times. Robles died weeks later. Combs denied his involvement in the shooting, but Suge Knight reportedly held him responsible for it. 3 years later, in 1998, Combs and 2 other men attacked rapper Nas's manager, Steve Stout. According to Rolling Stone magazine, the attack happened after Stout sent MTV a version of Combs and Nas's Hate Me Now, which contained a scene showing Combs as Jesus Christ being crucified. Combs reportedly wanted the crucifixion scene deleted and was furious it played on air. Stout says Combs and 2 other men barged into his New York office and attacked him with a champagne bottle. He said he was left with a broken arm and jaw. Combs denied any bones were broken. He would later tell MTV, quote, "I basically went to his office, and what happened in his office I can't really speak about, but I can say this. The way I handled myself in his office was completely wrong, and I've apologized to Steve about that, and I felt like I just disappointed myself." Combs was charged with second-degree assault and criminal mischief and sentenced to just 1 day of anger management class.
That was nothing.
A year after the Stout attack in December of 99, Combs and his then protege Jamal Barrow, better known as Shine, and Diddy's then girlfriend Jennifer Lopez were partying at a club in New York when Diddy knocked a drink out of the hands of a man named Matthew Allen. Also,
I'm sorry, guys. These ads. Oh, I gotta do a lot of editing.
Known as Scar. Scar got into an argument with Diddy, and at some point, someone threw money at Diddy's face, and Scar threatened to kill Shine. Prosecutors say all 3 men drew guns, and Shine shot 3 times into a crowded club. 3 people were shot. Diddy and Jennifer Lopez left the scene, but were later pulled over after running a red light. Police found a gun in the car, which led to the then couple getting arrested. Jennifer Lopez was detained for 14 hours and was ultimately released from custody. Diddy and J-Lo would later end their relationship. Diddy got indicted on charges stemming from the incident, including charges of criminal possession of an unregistered gun and attempted bribery for allegedly trying to get his bodyguard, Anthony Jones, to claim the weapon was his. Diddy's protege, Shine, who was also arrested with Diddy and Lopez, was convicted of 2 counts of assault, reckless endangerment, and gun possession. Diddy was acquitted while Shine was sentenced to 10 years in prison. So is it possible Shine took the fall to protect Diddy? Attorney Afi Patterson says the power dynamics between Diddy and those around him may have been an influence.
Well, I think you just said it. Their leader, their boss, person who is in a position of power. What type of bargaining power did Shine have? Who I absolutely loved his album. Memorized every single song. I was really sad what happened to him, but what kind of power do they have? Like I mentioned earlier, it had long been rumored that Diddy does not financially take care of his artists. So, what type of place of power do they have? By example, if we look at J-Lo, she was pretty early on in her musical career. This was 99, 2000. What power did she have, at that point? So, and I think actually that was an opportunity for her to get out of the situation because from what I recall, after that whole nightclub situation, the relationship was severed professionally and personally. And I think that more than anything, this was just an opportunity for her to get out of something that maybe she couldn't have gotten out of so easily before.
Diddy's legal trouble and controversies didn't end there. In 2013, Diddy was allegedly involved in an altercation with rapper J. Cole during the 2013 MTV Music Video Awards after party. Multiple sources told Complex Magazine Diddy was visibly intoxicated when he approached rapper Kendrick Lamar about his rap verse on Big Sean's Control, where Lamar said he was the king of New York. Combs reportedly tried to pour a drink on Lamar before J. Cole stepped in and they got into a fight. Both J. Cole and Diddy denied a fight even took place. But J. Cole later rapped on his 2021 song, Let Go My Hand, "My scrap was with Puff Daddy, who would have thought?" The next year in 2014, Diddy and Drake allegedly got into a physical dispute when Combs allegedly punched Drake over the rights to the beat that would later become Drake's 0 to 100. According to the Miami New Times, the two got into an argument that turned into blows during a DJ Khaled event in which Diddy allegedly told Drake, "You will not disrespect me." But Combs would later deny punching Drake, telling The Breakfast Club, "I didn't do nothing to Drake. Drake is my friend." 6 months after that incident, Combs reportedly got into an altercation with a UCLA assistant football coach. Diddy was present for his son Justin Combs' football practice when the coach told Justin, "I don't care if your dad's here. This is UCLA. I'm going to treat you just like I treat everyone else." Well, Diddy seemingly didn't like the coach speaking to his son that way. Diddy and Justin reportedly went to the coach's office after practice. An argument broke out between Diddy and the coach. Diddy was arrested for allegedly swinging a kettlebell at the assistant coach and charged with assault with a deadly weapon. But Diddy's reps claimed he was acting in self-defense. Ultimately, prosecutors reduced Diddy's charges to a misdemeanor. In 2017, a former chef of Diddy's alleged she was regularly made to prepare and serve food to Diddy and his guests while they were engaged in sexual acts. At the time, a spokesperson for Diddy told Variety it was a frivolous lawsuit by a disgruntled ex-employee who was fired for cause. However, in 2019, the lawsuit was settled for an undisclosed amount. In 2019, Diddy's ex-girlfriend Gina Hunn told controversial blogger Tasha K Diddy physically abused her throughout their 5-year relationship. She claimed Diddy stomped her on the stomach to the point she couldn't breathe and also punched her in the back of the head. In the podcast, Hunn told Tasha K Diddy was mentally, emotionally, and physically abusive. She said Diddy would often compare her and his then-girlfriend at the time, singer Cassie, to one another, saying Cassie was the good one and Hunn was the bad one. Hunn said at the time everyone in Diddy's circle knew and allowed the abuse to occur. Those sentiments were echoed in singer Cassie Ventura's 2023 federal lawsuit against Diddy. The singer, who had dated Diddy on and off for a decade, accused the mogul of rape and abuse. In one incident, Diddy allegedly pushed her into a car, then proceeded to kick her in the face repeatedly. In another claim, an intoxicated Diddy allegedly gave Cassie a black eye after she tried to leave a hotel room. The hotel security camera footage captured the incident, but Diddy allegedly bought it off for $50,000. Cassie alleged Diddy had a pattern of abuse, including controlling every aspect of her life, from what she wore to where she lived. The suit alleged Diddy forced Cassie to have sex with male sex workers. And Diddy allegedly supplied Cassie with different drugs, including ecstasy and ketamine. The suit stated the drug abuse was so bad, Cassie suffered from memory loss. And when she went to the doctor's office, her MRI results were not sent to her, but obtained by Diddy instead. The suit was ultimately settled a day after it was filed for an undisclosed amount.
I wasn't surprised that he settled. I think he looked at the reaction
Crazy.
from the public, and it was swift, and it was not pleasant for him. And I think he saw that it wasn't going to go away, so he settled. But again, I don't understand what advice he was getting. I'm sure it was some learned advice, but had it been me, I think I would have been like, "Sir, I don't think this looks good." Settle.
But did Cassie's lawsuit peel back the curtain to reveal the writing was always on the wall for Diddy? Attorney Offie Patterson believes so.
I don't think the allegations were as loud as they were, I believe, that day in November. I remember I was boarding a flight to London and I was reading Cassie Ventura's petition, and I was like, this is very loud. This is very explicit. I don't think the allegations had ever been that loud.
Sorry for the ad, guys. You are gonna get it. Go down.
Before. So I think people would always give him the benefit of the doubt because of his legacy in the community, because of what he's done. He had, of course, music, and then we know clothing, and then we know alcohol, and he had just a foothold in so many areas. So without some solid evidence, I think people always gave him the benefit of the doubt.
And Cassie's suit wasn't the end of it. Following the settlement, Diddy was hit with additional lawsuits from women claiming he sexually assaulted them. One, Jane Doe, claimed that Combs and singer Aaron Hall raped her and an unidentified friend in the early 90s. But a spokesperson for Diddy called the claims fabricated and a money grab. Then just last month, a former employee of Diddy's, Rodney Jones Jr., also known as Lil Rod, accused the rapper of sexual assault while working on Diddy's 2023 album. According to the suit, Jones claims he was subjected to possible drugging and rape, ritual humiliation, and being cheated out of more than $50,000 for work on Diddy's album. The suit also names actor Cuba Gooding Jr. Jones believed Diddy was grooming him in an attempt to pass him off to Gooding, leaving the two alone in a studio on Diddy's yacht, where Gooding is alleged to have groped and fondled Jones when the two were left alone. And that wasn't the only high-profile name attached to the suit. Jones claims Diddy used his access to celebrities, famous athletes, political figures, musicians, and international dignitaries like Prince Harry to draw guests to Diddy's parties, which were seemingly breeding grounds for alleged sex trafficking. Prince Harry is not a defendant in the suit, nor has he been accused of criminal acts. However, City Girls rapper Carisha Brownlee, aka Young Miami, has been named in Lil Rod's $30 million lawsuit. She's accused of transporting pink cocaine on a private jet from Miami to Virginia. And that's not the only claim against rapper Young Miami. Jones's lawsuit claims the City Girls rapper and 50 Cent's ex-girlfriend Daphne Joy were sex workers for Diddy and paid monthly stipends. At this time, Daphne Joy and Young Miami have not responded to the suit. However, Daphne Joy's ex, Curtis Jackson, aka 50 Cent, responded with this post to Instagram with the caption, "I didn't know you was a sex worker, you little sex worker. LOL. Yo, this stuff is a movie."
Oh my God.
So with nearly 30 years of different legal battles, why did it seemingly take so long for a reckoning when it came to Diddy? Patterson credits Cassie for opening the floodgates.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's the different type of people who are involved in the music industry. My friends and I are always talking, like, when is it going to happen for music? When is, music going to be Me Too'd? I consider the film and television, the Wild Wild West. But if that's the Wild Wild West, the music industry is just I don't know what's crazier than that. But definitely music is, and I think it just always goes back to bargaining power and the type of people who are in the music industry. What are their resources? So I think and let's talk about like their unions. Who do they have to go to collectively to organize and to support them, especially if they're going to be the poster child for bringing somebody down. What are their collective resources? Who's supporting them? So I think that's why it's taken so long in music. And again, as far as Puppy goes, these alleged victims thank God for Cassie, because she actually put her name behind it. And I think she empowered and enabled a lot of people to come out. And it's definitely starting with Puffy.
But could we see an arrest for the hip hop mogul and mega hitmaker? Patterson says absolutely.
Y'all hear that?
I've been looking at all of the just the YouTube videos and the interviews that his former employees and bodyguards and people closely associated with him have been giving. And one thing that's I guess been repeated multiple times is the fact that Diddy has trophies. He keeps videos of everything. So I think after the raids, a lot is going to come out. It was said that there are secret cameras in every room. And if there is one person who is underage, he's going to be charged. But I suspect they're going to find a lot on those videos. And the arrest may not be, next week, and it may not be next month, but it's definitely forthcoming.
Do you see a future of his employees also being arrested too?
Yes.
After Monday's raid, Diddy's lawyer issued a statement saying in part, there was a gross overuse of military-level force. There is no excuse for the excessive show of force and hostility exhibited by authorities or the way his children and employees were treated. Mr. Combs was never detained but spoke to and cooperated with authorities. There is no finding of criminal or civil liability with any of the allegations. Mr. Combs is innocent and will continue to fight every single day to clear his name.
Yeah, right.
And after this week's raid, Lil Rod's attorney told Rolling Stone magazine, it's about damn time. Sometimes justice delayed is not justice denied, so long as justice ultimately arrives. Meanwhile, Cassie's lawyer released a statement saying, quote, we will always support law enforcement when it seeks to prosecute those that have violated the law.
Okay, that's the end, guys. Okay. Oh, this was a long video. I didn't know we were going to be on this long. But yeah, what do you guys think? That was a lot, right? That kind of brought you guys up to speed in terms of what this case is all about. As you guys just heard, they are definitely going to be going for an arrest, but they got to go through all of that stuff and that footage that they had to get from the actual raid that they just did at his house last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week where they raided the house. So they got to go through all of that stuff. And like they said, if they see any underage people, if they see any, sexual stuff. And then, of course, they're looking at all the YouTube videos. They're looking at all the interviews that's going on. Stevie J, while you running your mouth, you getting ready to be going up in it too. That's why everybody's involved. You better shut your mouth, because they are looking at YouTube videos. They're looking on Instagram. They're looking everywhere to get what they need to piece together the puzzle to this particular case. So I'm going to keep you guys updated. I hope this video kind of opened you guys' eyes to what's really going on with Diddy and what he's being charged with. So thank you, Cassie, for kicking the door down and opening the floodgates to this case to bring Diddy's ass down. As you guys heard them say, they have very similar coverage and very similar charges from R. Kelly's case and Diddy's case is very similar. So there's no way in hell they're going to arrest R. Kelly and not arrest Diddy if they are, having the same type of charges. Okay, so yeah, I hope y'all enjoyed this. Please hit the like button on this video, guys. We have been on almost 2 hours. We got to get up off here, but I will see you guys in the morning for Car Chronicles. Okay, love you guys down. Thank you guys so much. Thank you, Belle Wilson, Linda Gamble, who else? Rose Armstead, and everybody else that helped tonight. Mod for me. Okay, thank you so much to my Caramelians and any other content creators joining, everybody in the bushes. Thank you guys so much. Please support the video. All right, love you guys. Let's get out of here. Let's get y'all some music, honey, so y'all can get on out of here. Bye.